There are three key mistakes that most chefs make, which is the reason why they will never make it in the private chef industry. And if you follow them to a T, you can also be sure to stay stuck in the back of the house for the rest of your fucking life. Let's fucking start. And if you stay until the end and you actually take notes, I might give you a fourth one is also very, very important. First one, they do live in a terrible fucking environment, not only at work but also at home. On average, chefs are surrounded by other chefs. Chefs are surrounded probably not by many business owners. Chefs are surrounded by people who are like them. And so people who are like them are people who haven't taken a lot of risk in their fucking life, and people who have been willing to listen to somebody else for the rest of their lives. Meaning that they built a set of limiting beliefs and a set of perspectives about life, about themselves, about their abilities, about the industry that they work in, about what they can and cannot do outside of this industry, which is forced by the environment that they've been living in. I'm gonna give you one example. You cannot be a successful chef, or you cannot be a successful private chef if you don't have a culinary degree, or if you haven't worked in Michelin-star restaurants, or if you don't have 10 or 20 years of kitchen management under your belt. All of that is bullshit. I personally don't have a culinary degree. I personally haven't worked in kitchen management for many, many years before I became a private chef. I personally haven't spent years in Michelin-star restaurants. Still, by 22 years old, I was making $100,000 a year as a private chef. And the most successful private chefs that I've known never went to culinary school, did any of that. Our top chef right now, Ted's Table in Nashville, is doing $40,000 fucking dollars a month, and he is a IT fucking major. Never worked in the restaurant his entire life, even fucking less a culinary degree or having kitchen management experience under his belt. So the environment that chefs live in is very important, because this is or has and will shape their thoughts, and so the actions and the behaviors that they will have and hold into for the rest of their lives. So the first thing that they should be doing is to change their environment. How do you change your environment? You cut your fucking friends. You cut the family members that are not supporting you in the goals that you have for yourself. You quit the toxic girl that is with you and that is telling you that you shouldn't fucking start a business because it's too risky. You start surrounding yourself with people who are either where you want to be or on the same path of getting there. A very easy way to do that is one, quitting your job and get a job that has nothing to fucking do with kitchen. So that already is gonna brutally change your environment. To invest in yourself, hire a mentor. It doesn't have to be me. It has to be anyone that you believe, that you respect, and that you feel could potentially get you to where you want to go. I'm saying could potentially because nothing is fucking guaranteed in this world anyway. Not just mentorship, but life overall. We don't know if we'll be there tomorrow. As long as you feel like you can respect that person and what they say makes sense, then pull the fucking trigger. That is the first big mistake the chefs make, which keep them stuck in the back of the fucking house. Mistake number two, the health. If you look at the cliche of a chef, he smokes, and not only cigarette, he drinks beer, he's fat, he doesn't exercise, he doesn't really prioritize his sleep. There's not really much going on in his life aside from fucking cooking, and anything that is hygiene or high performance or health related doesn't really care about that. He even might believe, because of the environment that he was living and grew up in, that this is all bullshit, that he doesn't need that the most successful chefs in the industry come successful without that. And so those beliefs build up in his mind, and we realize that a 40 years old chef is fat as fuck, never went to the gym, is terrible in his relationship, is absolutely okay with that. The first thing that you can do, I'm not telling you that you should meditate 3 hours a day and hug trees. I'm just saying go on walks, get a membership in a fucking gym, get something going on for yourself. If you quit your chef job and then you get into a more decent and normal industry, fix your sleep schedule. There are not many things that you need to do to actually be healthy, aside from having regular exercise, protecting your diet, and sleeping regular fucking hours without having very toxic people in your environment. If you do those 4 things, you're healthier than most people on earth, and will probably live until fucking at least 90 fucking years old. Mistake number 3. Lots of chefs have 1, an employee mindset, 2, a victim mindset. So unless you've run businesses before, you have an employee mindset. It is not something that like you do not have. It's like you have to put yourself in a position where you're taking more responsibilities that are being given to you in order for you to become resourceful, in order for you to start having initiatives, in order for you to start taking risk. So having an employee mindset isn't really something that you will grow up with or that you were born with. Having a victim mindset is kind of the same thing. You were not born being a victim, but if you've spent too many years in Michelin star restaurants, or in fine dining restaurants, or even in whatever fucking traditional restaurants with somebody that was mentally ill, then you probably have suffered from being forced to do things under your will because that was how it was supposed to happen. And this extended for a very long period of time is going to hurt a lot. Your self-love, your self-confidence, the self-respect that you have for yourself, anything really self-related, which then at the time that you decide to go do something on your own, which most people fail at, which is starting and running successfully a business, every time that you will face adversity, then guess what is going to happen? The victim mindset is going to pop out randomly. You're going to start talking very badly about yourself because this is what you've been doing for so long. And this time you'll be only by yourself to face that adversity, and then you will give up. So what can you do to first destroy the victim mindset, 2, to build a winning mindset? Get into competitive activities. Ideally, fucking sports. Why? Because when you compete, then you develop that winner mindset. Why? Because when you compete, there's either a winner or a loser. There's no in between. You don't finish second at a fucking race and then be like, I was second. You're either the first or you lost. And so developing that habit of winning on a daily, weekly, monthly, fucking yearly basis is gonna help you to kill that little voice in the back of your head that tells you when something doesn't work, that it's never gonna fucking work, that you're a piece of shit, that you don't have anything going on in your fucking life, and that you better to go back to fucking restaurants and find a job. And the little last bonus as a 4th mistake. This is for all the kitchen superstars. This is all for the chefs that spend extended amount of time either in fine dining Michelin star restaurants or at a managing position that I don't want to say was given to them, but in a managing position with a lot of power overall. Doing this develops a huge amount of ego that isn't gonna serve you, especially when you start your business. I am not saying that having ego is bad. I am just saying that if you had to pick between being humble and having ego, then you would always want to pick being humble. We know it. Chefs, most specifically, again, chefs from the fine dining and the Michelin star restaurant industry are not very humble chefs. I don't know where that comes from. It's just a fact that has been built there. And so that ego has to be turned off. That ego has to be destroyed in order for you to learn humility, in order for you to learn that, for example, when you start a business, you didn't earn the fact that people will pay you money. You didn't earn the fact that people will care about your food. You didn't earn the fact that your business will be successful. And so one way of humbling yourself is to learn something that you ideally need for your business from complete scratch, like sales. Sales is a very humbling experience, especially for chefs, because this is something that most chefs never did. This is something that most chefs are probably not naturally good at. I wasn't naturally good at sales. I had soft skills, but the technicality of sales itself is very complicated for me to acquire. And so I came into that industry with all the soft skills, with all this experience. Although I remember myself being like, oh, because I've worked 16 hours a day in kitchens, I'll be able to work 16 hours a day in sales. This is fucking different. It's like working 16 hours a day in sales is tremendously harder than staying up in a fucking kitchen for 16 hours straight. Putting yourself in new experience where you learn a new skill is very important for the success of your business for an extended period of time from scratch with other people that you naturally see as being less qualified than you genuinely. If you were to put them in like a fucking island and they had to survive against you, you know that like you'll probably survive longer than them, but in that specific sales environment starting from scratch, they're just naturally better than you. This is a very humbling experience that every chef need if they want to get out of the back of the house of the restaurant industry to build private chef businesses for themselves, for their family, for everybody around them, so they can also become a source of inspiration for them, for their wives, for the kids, and for all the other chefs who are being fucked in the restaurant industry in 2026. This is the end of this video. Goodbye.